All right, the Reds, this is Talking Reds from the Anfield app from my home and Neil's home. We are doing it over Skype. We are self-isolating as per the advice. I am actually feeling like shit, so I'm kind of glad I'm not in the office and spreading whatever I have got. So yeah, we're just doing this as a bit of an update, really. Obviously, there's no footy. We should have been playing the Merseyside derby tonight, which is quite sad that we're not. But you all know by now that there are bigger things, much bigger things going on in the world. So we're still going to do stuff on the Anfield app every day. Talking Reds, not so. It's going to be Monday, Wednesday, Friday for Talking Reds, because obviously there's less actual football to talk about. Although I do find it vaguely amusing that there are still transfer rumours kicking about. Never ever stops that, does it? Whoever's responsible for that, keep on churning them out, lads. You'll keep Rob Gutman happy. So yeah, we are where we are now with it, and obviously there's still the ongoing discussion about, you know, how are they going to sort out the season, how are they going to sort out the title, promotion, relegation, all the rest of it. Neil, if you didn't see it already, absolutely bodied Karen Brady on Sky Sports News. You can watch that on the Anfield app's Twitter. But yeah, I mean, in general, Neil, how are you just sort of feeling about it all now, mate?
The first thing we've all got to remember, and it struck me, I was this morning and I'm trying to pull bits and pieces together, is we haven't missed a game yet. So everyone's heads have gone west and we wouldn't have played yet. Like, literally, Liverpool wouldn't have. And it really made me laugh, the realisation that actually, lads, this is the way in which it would be anyway. So we've all just got to try and relax a little bit. You know, it's effectively been 0 days without Liverpool playing football. But it's the prospect of it all. And I think that I understand why people are a little antsy and all of that sort of stuff. But, you know, there's still a lot that's going to get resolved, I think, in the next few days. We're going to do the Anfield wrap in a minute. And, you know, I think that there's a wider sort of, I think April the 4th is just a placeholder, a little placeholder bit. The Spanish FA president's come out and said that whatever happens, the Spanish league season has to be finished. And I think that's where everyone, you know, it was nice that Karen backtracked after I bodied her. I think everyone's gonna sort of end up in that position because, as I said on the Sky thing, and I think this is really important, just to focus on the football before all the more important things. It's not about Liverpool. Liverpool are the easy bit. They really are the easy bit. The difficult bit is who's finishing in the Champions League places for when that restarts, who's going down and who's coming up. Liverpool are the easiest thing in the world. You can award Liverpool the trophy, and the Manchester City would not be suing because they would not want to look patently ridiculous. So I think that, you know, if they were to stop the season now and say where everyone is, then, as I say, Liverpool are the easy part. Everyone else, Robbo's a nightmare.
Yeah, I seen just then that the Euro Club Index have run all this kind of modelling, and they've done it 100 times, and every time Liverpool come out as winners. I think the problem is, or one of the problems is that, you know, I just experienced the madness of the shopping situation firsthand because, you know, it's essential that I've got stuff to eat.
Yeah.
So I had to go and do it. But while in there, one of the fellas working in Tesco just stopped me and he was like, I don't want to be handed this title. He said, I can't be arsed with, like, you know, we finally win it after 30 years. And I've got people saying, yeah, but it's an asterisk title. It didn't really count. You didn't play 38 games. And I'm like, I get that common sense should obviously tell you that Liverpool are so far away in front, 25 points in the lead, that it's theirs, it's done. But I think the fact that lad in Tesco is wandering around while everything else is going on and it's wrecking his head about an asterisk that isn't even there yet. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I think there'll be an asterisk now no matter what. So if they all come back and play the rest of the games, it's going to be weird. There's going to be questions around fitness levels. It's always going to be remembered as I think at last season I was making the joke that we were going to win the first title in the climate change era. Well, we are going to win the first title in the Corona era. There's no shadow of a doubt about that. So no matter what happens now, this year will always be remembered about something else. Listen, what I want is what I always wanted. I want us to win it at Anfield in front of with us there and the players on the pitch. Now, if us there is the bit to compromise on, then fine. You know, because we can all be where we are, whether or not we choose to self-isolate or choose to go and meet one another. We can all go. You know, we can work that out. But what I want is for those players to get that moment of togetherness on the pitch where they've achieved the thing that they've been so determined to achieve. And for me, that's the greatest sadness, really. It's not really about us because they've given us the fantastic year and a half. Not just that. You know, we had Madrid. We had the run-in. You know, I'll always remember Southampton away last year. That was the excitement. I was lucky enough to be at Leicester on Boxing Day, and it was incredible. You know, because you just knew you were watching the champions. So, you know what I mean? Like in that sort of, when do you think it's done bit, I thought it was done way before that, but just being at Leicester on Boxing Day and going, the whole country's watching the champions at 8 o'clock on Sky here, and I'm watching them in the ground, and I'm dead lucky. But I want them to have got that moment, and that's the shame. They're not going to get that, really, because they've done everything they've done for us, more than any other Liverpool sides I can ever think of, really. You do feel as though they've really shown all the determination they've shown to get this 30-year thing off our back, and they're not going to share it with us.
Yeah, I mean, I think the other thing away from the football about Liverpool is that, we've seen already Liverpool collectively, so Jordan Henderson is one of the players and the captain of the team, but also obviously people behind the scenes. One of their first thoughts has been the food bank around the ground is going to suffer massively from the fact that there are not football matches being played. I mean, we all know that, Anfield's an absolute, it's buzzing on a match day. There's people all over the show, and people have now made it part of their routine to routinely turn up with food and donate it to the food bank. And it's been absolutely massive for them. But when that's suddenly taken away, then there's a real problem there. And then you've got the other stuff that potentially on the agenda of us having, there being a lockdown, over 70s not being allowed out, all this kind of stuff, that will all impact on it as well. And the immediate reaction from the club has been the players have got together, put a big amount of money in, but they're also appealing to ourselves, to the wider world, to help. They're putting things in place in town. They've put links out there so people can donate. And a bit like the Jurgen Klopp statement as well, which was actually commended by the World Health Organization. It's which is mad, isn't it? But it makes you proud, doesn't it, about our club and about how our club has reacted to this? Because if you're a West Ham fan and you saw what Karen Brady said, you're probably going, I imagine, fuck's sake. Whereas you're looking at our club and you're saying, well, that's good. That shows that this club is part of the community, like it should be.
Yeah, that, and also that it understands the world. The Brady thing, as I said, but when I did the thing on Sky, I didn't even know that much about it. I didn't even know she'd written it for the Sun. It's probably for the best I didn't. But there is this sort of why West Ham and arguably Tottenham were leaking stuff from the point of view of self-interest immediately. We were 2 days in when they were doing that. And it's crackers, we're 2 days into something that's going to go on for weeks and possibly beyond that. Possibly we're talking into May, maybe all the way into June. And to act self-interestedly at that stage is out of order. The manager said something fantastic. What the players have done, you're right to make that clear. And it's not just 4 games, it's 9. Because the North Liverpool food banks, we only see it from an Anfield point of view. It exists at Goodison as well. And so for me, that's absolutely massive that we get the whole hit on this, and we remember that it's a complex thing that goes right the way through, and the club acting as it has done so far is terrific. And Ancelotti's come out and said the right things as well. And, I think that this is, I think in general, without wanting to do endless amounts of Scouse exceptionalism, I do think that Merseyside and the people who view themselves from the wider world as having a Merseyside mindset will respond well to what's not a great situation. Respond with generosity, respond with the idea that we've got to try to make the best of something that could be pretty horrible. There's projections of a lot of people are going to pass away. An unbelievable number of people could end up passing away. So trying to find the tone around all of that's also difficult. It's not, none of this is going to be straightforward. And from our point of view, we want to get those stories and those messages out at the Anfield Wrap where we can. But also be around for people to say, you're going to need stuff to listen to, stuff to watch, stuff to read. All of that becomes part of a wider conversation, because we can't just decide that, we cannot just basically sit at our homes, sit in our homes and watch Morecambe and Wise reruns, however good Morecambe and Wise were.
I mean, exactly. I was just going to say this myself in that, I see a lot of, well, football is not that important in the wider scheme of things. And obviously that point is correct on one hand. But on the other, it's a huge, huge part of people's lives. And to have that suddenly taken away from you, it's a bit like, well, what do we do on a Saturday or a Wednesday or a Tuesday or a Sunday? What am I doing with all these packages on my television where I used to be watching live football? We're all having a bit of a laugh about it to an extent, and I think you've got to do that. But it is huge. I've seen someone before. Again, I should stop doing this to myself, but what else am I meant to be doing? I'm looking on social media and I'm seeing someone saying, what? Why are people connecting mental health to football? And it's like, because it's a huge part of their lives, mate, because it's part of their routine, it's part of what they do, part of their life. And, there's a reason, for instance, that there's a huge industry around change management and all that. It's because people don't like it. And this is a huge, aggressive, massive change to people's lives.
What's really interesting is I've been sort of trying to work out, and I'm going to say this quite openly because I think that's one of the ways we'll all get through this. Like, there's people in my life I worry about, and there's people in my life I don't, and there's people connected to the Anfield Wrap I worry about, and there's people connected to the Anfield Wrap I don't. And someone who I don't worry about, a couple of people who I don't worry about, are Rob and Paul. Like, I don't worry really about Rob and Paul. They're absolutely fine. They tick over. They tend to, broadly speaking, be happier. Maybe Rob and Paul might end up watching this and thinking, God, that goes complacent about my happiness. But I'm really worried about both of them because this threatens livelihoods. They've got extended families. They've got aging parents. And the key thing that I know both of them have as their release in life is football and the structure of that. You know, Rob and Paul managed to get to almost every game. That's gone. The part of the main way in which they socialise is around football. Rob going out of an evening to go and watch other teams. I know you and him sometimes meet up on Lark Lane. The ability to do that has gone because there isn't the games. The ability possibly just to meet up in general could well change. They've closed the pubs in Ireland yesterday. So the idea of that as a social thing changes. And obviously there's a knock-on effect to their livelihoods genuinely with if people are reluctant to go out. And it's a really interesting thing that, you know, on every front there, in a public health sense, in a private health sense, in a mental health sense, and on a financial sense, I am genuinely worried a little bit about Rob and Paul. And we do jokes on the Anfield Wrap about this, that and the other. But these are the knock-on effects of something like this, that if this does become a long-run thing, then, you know, there'll be people out there you've never had to worry about particularly who you're going to have to start actually worrying about and being concerned for. And I think that is something that I think people in general need to bear in mind. But also, part of why we're going to do everything we can to keep the shows going is because we want that to be, you know, we see that as a part of people's routine. And I think trying to keep parts of people's routine present is important. So, you know, there should be a video every day this week. We're working on that. Talking Reds 3 times a week. We're going to try and get sort of 13, 14 audio shows out this week. And that's because what I don't want is for this bit of people's lives to just sort of disappear as well. You know, it's important for us, obviously, because it's our livelihoods too, but it's more or as much the idea that people have grown to rely on lots of what we do. So we're trying to keep the attitude the same, but not really lose the, you know, but keep the attitude the same. Things will have to be a little bit different in format, but keep the attitude the same and try to keep people bouncing along as much as we can.
Yeah, I mean, and you've seen that with the players as well, haven't you, already? Yeah. Which have enjoyed in that, you know, they're kicking about, they're in their own homes, they don't know what to do either. And obviously you had Oxlade-Chamberlain and his missus doing the little dance up the stairs, which was absolutely brilliant.
It was amazing.
Then you had Milner doing his tea ration and you know, I again, it's just like, I like that because, you know, again, you think these are good fellas, these are decent guys, you know what I mean? And it's like, you know, to put that out, I mean, I don't know if they've thought it out this much, but I can guarantee it put a smile on people's faces and it lifted people when, you know, you are bombarded 24/7 by stuff around the coronavirus.
Yeah, Oxlade-Chamberlain's videos had 1 million views, and I reckon I'm 43,000 of them. To be honest with you, it's absolutely incredible. I mean, you know, it just made me because there's two parts. There's one, they've obviously done that for the camera, obviously because they switch the camera on and they do it. But it does make you think, God, it must be a laugh in their kitchen a lot of the time, because you don't just do that off the back of, should we just do a dance? They must be, you know, and it just comes across like it just as two happy people, and I think that's great, and I'm glad that people have responded to it, and yeah, Milner having a laugh as well, and I think there'll be bits and pieces of that, but from their point of view, those players, you know, this is genuinely, this is a bit gutting. Tonight when they'll feel it, the Klopp builds training towards times, and he'll have built until the game's been called off. He'll have been building towards Monday at 8, and I think, you know, even there, we've heard from footy players in the past. Jason McAteer, the book, you know, Saturday 3:00. Why aren't I playing? David Thompson, Saturday 3:00. Me whole body, the circadian rhythms of my body are I should be playing football. And I think it's going to be really tough for some of those players in terms of suddenly not feeling like you've got a footy game. Even one to look forward to. It's not the same as an injury. An injury, you do other little bits and pieces. But to suddenly not have a football match to look forward to, which you've been looking, you know, which is what you've been doing since you were 11 years old, because that's what hits them when they retire. This has been my life for 25, 30 years. That focusing on, I should be playing. I think it's going to be hard for them. I think they're almost going to feel it physically and mentally, and it's not going to be easy.
Well, whatever happens with it all, we shall be carrying on.
They should just film 5-0s at Melwood, you know. And then we could all watch that.
You know what, we would, wouldn't we? I mean, you know, yesterday, I mean, I got a very small fix from my lad played his first match, and it was so good. I was nearly in tears. I was just like, So A, that my lad is finally getting into football, but B, some football. You know what I mean? I don't know what you said before. Like, you know, Liverpool haven't actually missed a match yet, but it's because it's being taken away.
Yeah.
It's in your head that it's being taken away, and all the media, everything around it, it's different and it's changed, and it's, you know, it's not quite right, is it? And then, you know, there's my lad muddying his knees and getting stuck in the middle of the park. And I was like, go on, son. So it's fantastic. But listen, we are going to carry on. That has been Talking Reds, the first one like this. Let us know what you thought. Let us know what you think we should be doing and putting out as well. Loads of people have done that already, and we've took some of those ideas on, and we will be using them. And yeah, keep on keeping on, everyone. That has been Talking Reds from the Anfield Wrap.